Hello, welcome back to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Daniel Parr.
And I'm Erwin.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. Number two, what are they going to do?
They're going to like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. Erwin, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to live action remakes.
There's been so many.
There have been so many. Have any of them been better than the original to you?
Jungle Book.
Jungle Book is one of them.
Yes.
You know what?
Right?
Yes.
That one was great.
I think that's a great movie. You know what else I think is a better movie than the original? Cinderella.
Oh, I still haven't seen that one.
It's amazing.
I have heard that, though.
But also there's a billion Cinderellas. I feel like that's kind of a cheat answer because it's also, I'm pretty sure, in public domain. So I'm pretty sure anybody can make a movie about that. But then again, anybody can make a movie about Winnie the Pooh now, too, if they want to.
Yeah, Christopher Robin.
Yeah. No, that one where he's like on a boat and he's killing... No, that's the Mickey Mouse thing.
The horror one?
But yeah, there's all those like horror movie things, and I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. It's a bunch of public domain nonsense. But I want us to get into fully everything when it comes to live action remakes because we did a thing where we asked a bunch of people, and you guys really showed out for the comments on that. I think it's the most comments we've ever gotten on TikTok. I'm sure there's and there's like 1,000 comments on that. By the way, somebody ratioed me on the likes on there. That's rude. I'm gonna delete that comment.
Which one was it?
It just says like I think that it should be beat for beat. Bar for bar, and it has more likes than our initial post, so that's rude.
Funny.
But what is it that we're reviewing?
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon. It's kind of funny. This is not the second live action. There was Snow White, which neither of us really minded that much.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it was. I just didn't.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, but we're not one of those people that's like I just don't care enough about like I also don't know if people sort of fake that passion or if they really are that passionate about the 1930s Snow White.
Because then I'm also questioning like how often do you watch those movies too?
I mean, for me, with original Dreamworks and Disney animated stuff, how often do you watch something like that?
Usually during the holidays, if anything specific, like Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I would always watch that during Christmas time.
For me, I think growing up, obviously you watch the same animated movies over and over and over.
Shrek,
always Shrek 2, Shrek 4, not 3, and anything.
Kung Fu Panda.
Also, speaking of, another franchise that falls into that. Did you watch these a lot? How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes. I haven't seen the third one.
You haven't seen the third one?
That's the only one I haven't seen.
That movie makes me cry. They all make me cry, actually. And so did this one.
Yeah, they're all so good.
But before we get into all of that, I'm sure anybody who saw this movie, unless you're like 5 or 6, and you haven't seen the original, knows this. But what is this movie about?
Basically, it's in this world where there's dragons and Vikings. And there's this character named Hiccup. And he's... wants to prove to his dad that he's also capable of killing dragons, but Hiccup basically finds this way to capture a dragon, a Night Fury, and he befriends them.
It's very much a... Have you seen this type of movie before, even without the live action? Yes, you have. You've seen E.T. You've seen... Well, then again, Bumblebee came out after, but before this... Anything with the whole, like, this is my friend that's kind of, not human.
I'm supposed to destroy my friend.
And then it turns out they're actually not quite so different from us. There's literally a line like that in this movie where it's like, everything we know about them is wrong. Did you watch any of the original ones before this one or after this new one?
No, I haven't seen... I've seen the first one so many times. The second one I've seen a couple of times. But I don't know. I just remember both of those movies clearly.
From my memory,
the first one came out 2008. It's been 17 years.
I thought it was 2010.
No.
It was 2008?
2008.
Is that accurate? Either way, I remember that was
still
one of the...
so long.
I remember that was one of the first, like, movies in 3D, and that was part of that big boom.
Oh,
for that. Yeah. And then I actually remember when the reviews for that were coming out, it was on Google Reviews, which I don't even think that exists anymore. But
I'm pretty sure it's still there.
You just have to find old documented. I remember because I was like, what do people think of Cars 2? I was like, they gave it a C-.
Pixar, no!
I don't remember much about that movie anymore, but you know what?
Just a wasabi scene with Motor. That's the only thing that I remember from that movie.
It's because we have a friend that will quote it all the time. Jeremiah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get into what we think of this before we go into fully everything else, because there's a lot to cover here with How to Train Your Dragon 2025. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or are you somewhere between?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I genuinely loved it.
I won't lie to you. I went into this. I saw that
Why
it had
would
great...
you lie to me?
I don't know. I won't lie to them either. But I won't lie to you or them.
I mean, I lie to them.
Yeah, the audience.
Yeah, I'll lie to the audience.
Yeah, except for whenever you guys are mean to us.
No, that's
he
funny.
Probably likes that.
Yeah,
I do. Somebody tried to tell me that Ballerina wasn't a reboot. Not a reboot. Wasn't a spinoff. Did you see that comment?
No, that's funny. Ballerina isn't a spinoff.
No, they were like, it's not a spinoff because it takes place in the same world, but it's also about a different character. I was like, that's a spinoff. It's like,
that's
man,
funny.
I'm sorry, but come on.
I'm gonna go like that comment.
It's on our Ballerina review, just so you know. But it's just funny because I went into this, I saw that it was at like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, something like that. Like, and I know that we keep saying don't go off of that, but you gotta admit, when you see the critic scores for the live action remakes, typically I don't think they're in the higher range. They're usually
they're like middle.
Yeah, if they're usually doing well, they're usually at like 68%, like Lilo and Stitch. So of course, going into this, I know that it was DreamWorks' first initial foray into the live action adaptation. It's their first of this, and they very much had the original person, original writer director, funny enough, the co-writer director, everything of Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah,
that worked on this, Dean DeBlois.
I didn't know that until like after learning about that from this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't feel like they definitely share a similar DNA.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the humor's similar, the sort of like Toothless is obviously also kind of a dog, but like less, you know, the rambunctious kind that Stitch is supposed to be.
Yeah.
He kind of gives more of a golden retriever type energy to me, except for whenever he's like very sassy, which is, you know, a lot of.
But Toothless black.
Well, what kind of lab maybe?
A lab?
Like a black lab, yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, dogs that are playful, right? But I think that when this movie initially started, I couldn't help it. I was like, I don't know if I'm excited for this, just because of how I felt about Lilo and Stitch. Which, if you watch that, we didn't hate it. You liked it, but I liked it. I was very much like I gave it a positive score, but I was like, it was fine. Like I didn't think much of it. I haven't thought much of it since, and so the initial first 10, 15 minutes of it, I won't lie to you, I wasn't immediately in it, and
I wasn't in it as well.
For you, what was it that
I think it was just like the world itself.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it captured me yet, and like of course you're just thrown in there right away, and I think a lot of it just came down to the characters that was introduced as well, because I think just because of the fact that I haven't seen the animated one too. Yeah. And the colors. I think the way it was just looking in the very beginning, because it was at nighttime. Yeah. And everything didn't really seem like it was popping off to me, except for like certain moments, but majority of it was like that. And I think it was also the narration as well.
I think we had a similar reaction to it, just because I was like, you know, I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I did watch it a lot when I was younger, because I love dragons so much. Dinosaurs are awesome.
What's your favorite dragon?
In this one?
No, in general.
In general?
If you had to pick a certain like pop culture,
they
mention dragons or they showcase dragons, what's your favorite design?
I know yours are If You Could Imagine Them, but mine would probably
Guys, I like the music Imagine Dragons. That's what it was.
It was gonna come up, I think. How to Imagine Your Dragon. But I think, honestly, the way that they treat the lore of them in Skyrim, I think.
Oh, okay.
I like that they make them this kind of grand presence, but then also they just sort of exist within the world. And I like it when they treat them a lot with this kind of, I mean, in House of the Dragon? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like that their relationship a lot, how they connect with them. The designs are amazing. But I think Skyrim was just, it was introduced to me at an impressionable age, so it was one of those things. But how about you?
You played Skyrim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Put in like over 100 hours, which is nothing compared to somebody we know. But he'd probably be like, you're like 1,000.
Aragon.
Fuck no, dude. What? Those books are bad.
I haven't read them.
No, you know what?
I just remember that movie so vividly too.
This is probably a cop-out answer, but obviously how they're treated in Goblet of Fire, I think is also really great. I love that you also can recognize them each individually, but just dragons generally, they have this very much sort of energy about them. This like regal, grand.
It's just the way you described it in Skyrim.
Yeah,
like treating them something like almost like gods.
Yeah,
in a way, something that's so like powerful and like huge compared to us. And so anytime they were just showcasing any type of movie or show, they just feel like you just feel their presence.
Yeah. Which is why I want to get into why I think that this movie really resonated with me. I mean it. I loved it. I don't have too many negatives outside of the initial kind of rough beginning. When did it actually start clicking with you? Like
whenever Hiccup meets Toothless.
Yeah.
I think for me, like that, everything else was like getting there for sure. And him going through the training as well. That one really, I was enjoying like everything after that whole beginning. Where he captures, or like he shoots Night Fury and actually captures Night Fury, and like his dad saves him and everything. Actually, I like the fight. I like the part where Stoic was hitting the dragon. That was pretty cool. But I think it was a training part in the beginning. I liked, but it wasn't until like Hiccup met Toothless.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love this movie.
Mine kind of... So I immediately started liking it actually after the initial scene. The whole opening thing, I know that so many people say that they need better people that light things, but genuinely the first initial action scene's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
I was like... And, you know, we're not old enough yet to be like, I can't see anything. But
I got my glasses on.
And our Alamo now has this thing called like HDR by Barco, which they introduced like this new laser projector thing with the new audio. I don't know if you saw it like that, but it was like really expansive and like really, really clear imagery. So I was like, I doubt they like fucked up the actual projection. And so watching it, I was kind of like, great. I was like, my number one concern, because I didn't see a trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, if they didn't get... The only reason in which I can see why they could translate this into live action is if they really put emphasis on the grandeur of the dragons. Or of Burke. And so once that scene is done, when I saw that everything, a lot of the sets are practical.
Oh, it looked great.
Yeah, and actually, places.
Yes.
I was like, oh, no way.
Yeah.
So
it all made sense after that.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, everything about this movie just looks so realistic. Like, from the dragons to, like, what the Vikings were wearing as well. And you can clearly tell, like, the people who were passionate about the animated movies definitely put their passion back into the live-action one right here.
I mean, I'm assuming, if we're going to look at it from, like, a commercial perspective, the reason why this was probably made is because something I'm really excited about is Universal Studios just opened their How to Train Your Dragon World. And like, so why do you think that they made this? They probably made it so they could promote that by extension, and you want to go there. Unfortunately, it worked on me. I'd already wanted to go there. Now I really want to go there. And so really, Burke itself, I was really impressed by, I think it's because, you know what the other best live action thing ever is to me is One Piece, the show.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a good one.
Yeah. And like, I think it impressed me for the same reasons, because the difference, and I said this in Lilo and Stitch, and I know we still disagree on this, but I felt like they loved what they were adapting, but they didn't fully get it. And here...
I disagree on that.
I know you do, but here, to me, obviously because it's the same writer-director, they loved what they were adapting, and also fully understood their source material. Yeah. So it's like, 35 minutes longer or something like that? And I felt like every single thing that was added was...
It was still part of it. It just felt extended.
Yeah. I heard somebody call it like a director's cut version of the original one, and it does feel that way. What I loved was how much expansion there was to me on the Astrid relationship, and also, and I'm so glad he's giving a great performance. I mean, I loved him in Den of Thieves earlier this year, but Gerard Butler...
No, White House. No, it wasn't a White House. That was the other one.
The bad one. Olympus Has Fallen. Yeah.
And what was the next one after that?
Olympus.
It was all fallen movies.
Yeah.
Everything. London has fallen.
And then
what was the other one?
Was stupid.
What was the third one?
Angel Has Fallen.
There it is.
I think his name is Angel.
I don't remember.
But what did you love about this? What impressed you about this?
I think what impressed me the most about it was creating something. Basically, it is what people are saying, a beat for beat, how the animated one is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it just works.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just so confused on too, because I think having this internal battle of should these live action movies happen? Should these movies be the same thing, line for line, same scene for scene? Because there are some scenes while watching, I was like, that literally happened in the animated one.
Yeah, like beat for beat, like line
it's
for
insane.
line.
Like whenever Hiccup becomes the winner and has to like go kill a dragon in the little arena, and Toothless comes to save him. I'm like, this is exactly the same. It's insane.
I won't lie to you though. So the reason why, and I want to get two things out of the way because I know that there are going to be comments like this. We very obviously have a clear love and passion for, film just generally speaking, but I'm not a person that treats animation as just like, oh, that's like, for kids. That's just that's not as mature as, a live action anything. You're literally wearing a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think that the animated medium can be just as mature and be taken just as seriously.
Yeah.
And if you go back and watch the How to Train Your Dragon movies, they are a bit more mature than the other DreamWorks stuff. They're telling, not that some of the DreamWorks stuff's not like telling a story, but I mean, like, if you compare this to Trolls, it's one of those things where it's like, they're
but
on
NSYNC
different.
Is in the second one.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
I kind of gotta watch those. I liked the trailer for the second and third one, but. And then you compare it to, what the hell was that movie? The Kraken Girl movie?
Oh, I've not seen it. Did it get good reviews, though?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I thought it did.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I gotta see Bad Guys, though.
This trailer for the second one looks amazing. I've heard the first one's really good. But it's just, sometimes DreamWorks is on a very high level. Other times they're sort of like...
Just like,
I don't know what they're trying to do.
What was Open Season? Was that DreamWorks?
Dude, I think that was Blue Sky.
Who owns Blue Sky?
Well, Disney now.
Okay.
But Blue Sky used to be.
I liked Open Season, the first one.
You mean, I just remember when they like go to the gas station and, like, and they like Slurpees or something. Dude, I don't remember.
I remember it's like...
And then he's like shaking his ass. I don't remember it that way.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's all you remember? I just remember the bear
shaking his ass. He had a huge
ass.
It was like really close to the camera. And then like the deer was... I don't remember who voiced him.
Yeah.
But... No, back to this. I think genuinely, I remember when How to Train Your Dragon came out, people were like, it was a backhanded compliment for sure, but they were like, oh, DreamWorks made like a Pixar level movie. Like here saying this. Like you would have thought that they would have released it. But, oh, you know who was amazing in this? Nick Frost.
Oh,
I was like, I thought that, just based off of my memory, I was like, is that the same voice actor? I was like, did he voice him back in like, because they did bring back Gerard Butler.
Oh, yeah.
So... I also like that they kind of gave him a little bit more to do.
Oh, yeah. I need to watch the first one again because the extra 30 minutes, I just wonder, like, where was it placed more so. But I'm pretty sure it was placed more during the character scenes and just seeing them interact more.
So I watched the original again the next day because I was like, well, I want to watch the original again.
Yeah.
And genuinely, what they added is a lot of extended dialogue interactions.
Okay. That makes sense.
There's a bit more ability to have the same conversations but more fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
In the animated one, obviously you get the point, but here I think they wanted to make a bit more of a... It is in the real world. I feel like your brain kind of needs a bit more explanation when it's watching something that's set in a actual kind of physical reality. I feel like with animated stuff, people just can kind of roll with it.
Well, because they're like, oh, it's fake.
Yeah. Or it's just like, okay, these are dragons and you can just accept that this is happening. I know that something I noticed, did you notice that the acting, and this is a compliment, felt a bit more like literally animated?
Yes, absolutely.
Because his like sort of sidekick people act really cartoony kind of. And I like them.
But I think it just fits well because a lot of the dragons, even their designs, look very cartoonish.
And that's what I wanted to say was my absolute biggest compliment to this movie. It's why I do want to see it again. And it's why I was so impressed by it as someone who just loves dragons, is specifically because of the way they depict the scale of everything. That is by far what I was most impressed by, and it's why I kind of fell in love with this movie, was after that initial opening part, once it finally shows the actual overall world, the set design, where they're training is incredible.
Yes.
And obviously, like, they're following it beat for beat, but it's crazy to see something so one-to-one in just an actual setting. And then the dragons themselves are my favorite part of it, you know, aside from the actual relationships that they build.
Yeah.
Toothless is beautiful, I think.
I think the first, like, hearing the music, too, the exact same music playing in it too, like, I was definitely, it felt like my first time watching it again.
Yeah.
And just because it is a different format of being live action as well, and I just enjoyed it, especially with the whole flight scene as well. Oh, that was so beautiful. Everything about it was amazing.
There's a very famous song in this, like, the music's amazing, by John Powell, who's like, who came back, who's probably, I mean, they could have just used the same score again.
Yeah,
they also did that too.
Yeah.
But it's called Test Flight, right? Or Test Drive. And that song is, I think, just an incredible piece of composition. It
works so well with, like, anything.
Yeah. It's kind of the theme song for Toothless and Hiccup's relationship.
Yeah.
And the actual initial... Honestly, I kind of teared up. It's that moment when the music builds while he first draws him with, like, a stick, and then it's the kind of gradual build from there where he draws, I think it's just Burke, or it's like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he does that thing where he steps over the lines, and then it builds like to him being able to touch him. There's something so just quiet and beautiful about that, and what I liked so much about this in particular is just the respect for, like, emotional beats, because I think that not only did they care about that in their relationship, it's the most important aspect of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Is just also the kind of treatment of it is going to attract younger kids. I went to Target. It, like, you know, obviously kids are going to want to see it, but I also liked that they kill people visibly on screen. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Like in the third act, they like set people on fire.
Nice.
And I just love Toothless's design a lot in this too.
It looks exactly like it. It's insane. And then all the other dragons, but then that one big dragon, awesome. It looks so cool. Good.
Yeah.
And the moment they were flying in the air as well, that was great.
No, that scene where it's the whole, like, flying into the sky, there's something so exhilarating about it. And watching it, I obviously don't know how much of this movie is, like, you know, the green screen, like the volume, whatever it may be. There were a couple moments that I thought were just a little bit of a letdown in terms of visual look, just because, did you notice that it kind of went green screen looking, like, once or twice?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just bound to happen regardless.
Yeah, I thought it was just so weird that they used that, just because so much of it looks like it was shot wherever it was shot.
Yeah,
to me. And one other thing I liked a lot about this is, what did you think about, outside of, you know, Hiccup and Toothless, like the side characters?
Yeah.
And stuff in this?
Great as well. Yeah. Was it Julian?
Oh, the kid from Deadpool, right?
Yeah, kid from Deadpool, the kid from
Hunt for the Wilder People.
It's insane how much he's grown.
I really liked him in this.
Yeah, he was great. The brother and sister.
Yeah.
As well, they did a great job. I don't know, like the way that they got these certain actors to play the characters from the animated one, same mannerisms. Yeah. It's insane.
It was actually kind of weird how spot on I don't know his name, but the one that plays the Jonah Hill animated character guy.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like him. It was weird.
Yeah, I was just like, what the heck? Same thing with, like, Astrid, like, does a great performance, too.
Really liked Nico Parker in this, along with Mason Thames, which we haven't really talked about yet. They have an immense amount of chemistry with each other, and if you've seen any of the promotion for this movie, you've seen that. Yeah, true. And it really does translate onto this movie in particular, because I feel like there's a worry that you could be like, why did they include this romantic relationship? But then it actually does become really important to the story, especially in the third one.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was already there in the first one, wasn't it?
no, it absolutely was, but it's actually really interesting to see them treat these characters like they grow as adults throughout the series, because by the third one they're fully fleshed out, and I think in their 20s. I can't remember how much time passes through,
like 20s or 30s.
Yeah, but honestly, what I really liked was also, want to get into like the third act of this movie in particular, but just any more positives that you might have too.
I think Gerard Butler,
yeah.
I don't know if, what was a movie that you've seen him in where he's just like, he can like emotionally showcase his acting, because I can't think of one.
A cop out, but because this is a pun based off, but I really liked him in the movie I was just talking about that came out earlier this year, was Den of Thieves.
Okay.
But he is doing this kind of like gruff and tough thing, but he does typically do that.
Yeah.
Here,
I think he definitely he was able to showcase more so in this one's the way that he would do it in the animated one, because voice acting is also really hard.
Yeah, it's like a totally different kind of acting. We can acknowledge that.
But whenever he had those scenes where him and Hiccup were like trying to showcase their emotions with one another, was like was funny, but also very emotional as well. Especially whenever Stoic comes back and he was hearing all these stories about Hiccup doing well in the training, and it was just like the manners, like, she seems so happy and it's just working so well, like, as a father. But then also later on, whenever he finds out that Hiccup has been helping these dragons, as well as saying like, you're not my son anymore, and then taking it back again, saying you are my son. Yeah. I'm like, oh my god.
No, I mean, like, he's kind of not the best dad in the world, but also I really do like the whole them processing that, the whole like they kind of do have a weird sort of tension in their relationship, obviously because the mom isn't there, but she does come back in the second one, right?
Yes.
And
I'm excited to who they cast.
It's probably gonna be, isn't it Cate Blanchett?
Yeah.
They're probably gonna bring her back for it. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like she would do it.
Yeah.
But who are
they gonna cast the bad guy?
I don't remember honestly, I was gonna watch the second one like tomorrow. I think, because I really do want to watch it again. And I feel like that makes me want to ask you a question in a second, but I do love that relationship. I think it's really interesting. It's again pretty mature handling of a topic for something like a DreamWorks movie, but I do feel like that they're really good at that when they want to be. Yeah. And like, I mean, Shrek 4 is about like what, him kind of hating his kids.
I hate my wife and my kids.
And then he's like, joke. Oh no, I love my wife and my kids. It's a weird movie.
I love that joke.
Yeah. I hate my wife.
I hate my loving wife and my beautiful kids.
My wife loves me so much. But there's two specific questions, because I'm sure we'll get comments about this. Mm-hmm. We didn't even touch on what we think of this. Live action things. We can't avoid them. They're going to happen.
Yes.
If they continue to exist, what do you want from them?
I don't know. I think, as much as I don't know, I want a movie that's different too. Yeah. I think if it's a movie that everyone in general can say like, this is a great movie, then maybe just having played beat for beat wouldn't be the worst thing as well, and maybe just add more to like scenes that people enjoy. Yeah. That could be like the changes, like the way they did it in this one. Because other than that though, if it's a movie that happened and nobody has really seen it, or it's a movie that not everyone wasn't well received as well, then changes should be made as well to better approve the story that happened. But I don't know. I was just thinking right now, I was like, oh, that'd be so cool if they do like Treasure Planet. I love that movie.
Which would be,
But I love that movie, but not everyone has seen it.
Yeah, that's a very underseen.
So like, what is it? Because it's like you could change things about it, but not a lot of people are gonna know about it.
I have been trying to get like, I mean, I'm not part of Disney, but like if I were one of the heads of Disney, I would not shut up about this. I'd be like, you guys keep remaking every fucking thing. Where is the remake for The Black Cauldron? I need it now, because that one I feel that
one's for sure can be made live action.
I love that movie. It is super underseen.
Very.
It has a divided take on it. You either love it or you don't really care for it all that much.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yes.
And I think that could be remade. Mm-hmm. They wasted their remake of Mulan. That can be remade again if they really want to do that.
Nobody saw that one.
No, it's not good either. Yeah. And
the way that movie made hella changes because what was it? His name's not even in it.
Oh yeah, well there's no singing. Mushu's not in it. But like if they wanted to do the whole serious thing about like a serious war movie about that, then do it. Yeah. And like it felt. I think the reason why nobody responded to that is because it was half committed. Oh. Because it still tried to be the Disney thing, but then very obviously didn't want to be. It felt like it was kind of like embarrassed to be it was weird. Oh. I did not like that movie, and I didn't respond to it specifically because it felt disingenuous. Mm-hmm. But that's usually what people have a critique for.
I want to see Princess and the Frog.
That'd be pretty cool. I love that movie.
Yeah, that one's great.
Oh, that would be great, actually. I want to see New Orleans. Like, that'd be cool. But that, and then also, I feel like for me, what I kind of expect out of it was like what you said. I would like if it's a perfect movie, like How to Train Your Dragon really is, then just add additional things and keep what was there. Mm-hmm. But for me, if you feel like you have a genuine new idea and it takes place within the world, that's kind of hard to navigate because I feel like you could do like we have to stick within the confines of like a remake of it.
But I also like to think when it says live action, it's like taking a realistic approach as well, right? Because I guess it's what we talked about earlier, where it's like you're trying to have your mind settle in with a live action after knowing about an animated movie. Because when you're an animated movie, you're just like, oh, well, everything's fake. Yeah. And it doesn't really like give you any type of stakes or any realism as well. But with a live action, it kind of like takes that away from you, and you're like, well, I could see this happen in some sort of way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of like there are some moments in this that they recreate that I thought you could only see in like animated movies just based off of, physics. Mm-hmm. Because there's a moment where in this shot, I love it, is whenever it's in the third act. It's when Toothless is going for Hiccup and they're like falling into the fire and they recreate it and it looks like, I didn't think it could look amazing in live action, but it does. It's one of those things where if they were to try to recreate that Spider-Verse scene where in the first one where he's like, it's the what's up danger moment, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I thought it could only exist within the animated space, but maybe I'm not fully sure. But then I'm also like, I'm sure somebody will get mad that the little dragon that like sets itself on fire, that one scene isn't in this movie because like it's Toothless that like spits fire like into his mouth.
Oh, yes.
And then he's like, oh, not so flammable on the inside. And I think they put that same line but somewhere else. Yeah. And then I saw some comment that was like, I can't believe that they got rid of the scene. I'm like, oh my god, they're like the one.
And I'm like, a scene that's supposed to be a joke. Like what?
I mean, that's where he does get the idea to set the the gigantic dragon on fire, but they literally put that somewhere else. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, that's why I asked that question. I'm like, I don't know what people look for sometimes.
I don't know. I think the fact that this one had everyone that worked on the other animated movies come back with the live action one definitely helped.
Like, are you gonna tell me that you care about the scene where they initially take Astrid on like the ride with Toothless? Yeah. That instead of a tree, it was her on top of a mountain this time. Is that gonna bother you? Because I mean, I really do think that they flex that just to show that they were like actually there. Yeah. But no, I mean,
I don't know. I can't think of like why, or not why. But, like, what would be, like, the perfect answer to live action? I just think having it where making it more realistic would be the better approach.
I think you could take a bad animated movie and then make a good live action remake of it. I'm sure this is slander to some people, but I do think that you could make a much better Polar Express movie.
Dang, dude, calm down.
Movie's fucking terrible, guys.
That would be cool, though, a live action Polar Express.
But, like, to me, my whole idea of remakes was, like, take movies that were extreme letdowns and remake them. Yeah. Like, what, Dread? And...
What? One with Carl Urban?
No, that's the good one. I'm talking about the Sylvester Stallone one.
Dude, that was so long ago.
Yeah, but they remade that.
Yeah,
and it was much better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you want another one?
No, I'm saying take bad movies that had good concepts. Give me another example.
Because I was just like, but...
No, I love the Carl Urban one.
Yeah, so
don't remake that. I'm saying that's the good example of the remake.
Okay.
But outside of that... Damn, that was my one example. That better work for you. Because I guess I was trying to think of another one.
I thought you were going to pick a movie that was already bad that hasn't been made.
Again. Oh, that hasn't been made yet? No. Yeah. I'm talking about... Oh, well...
Catwoman.
No. Well, that, yes. Like that. Yeah, like that. Like, remake that. Or animated, really... Fantastic Four looks amazing. And
Please.
Which isn't a remake, I know. Don't get into that with me. But the... Reboot, different thing. But I guess we haven't really talked about this. Do you have any negatives with this?
Except for like the beginning that we talked about, but it wasn't much of a negative. It was just more so the fact that it's just probably took that realism approach, and so like everything was dark and you couldn't really see much. And it wasn't until like little sparks happen where it's like you see the fire of the dragons or see it with a torch and everything. Other than that, though, it's just like a build up. But I think it may have happened that I may have like felt that way too with the animated one as well. Where just like you're just getting started, and I probably went into it thinking like, well, what if it's my first time watching this movie? Yeah. And especially if you haven't seen the animated ones and you walked into this one, you'll love it even more.
I do really think that if this is your first initial approach to this franchise, you will get the absolute same sort of visceral kind of love and emotion out of it that the original has. There's just a quality about this story specifically that I think is really beautiful, and it's because it's so simple. Yeah. And it's really about, it's like a boy and his dog. It's like one of those types of stories, and that they develop. I can watch them develop their relationship with each other like over and over. I wanted to watch this again immediately, and it's because Hiccup's so likable. Toothless is amazing, and I really loved... There's a moment where you see a scale and it's like so shiny and glittery, and I love that they took that much effort.
It looked like a dragon scale from the animated PBS show.
Oh, the
Dragon Tales?
Yeah. I used to love that show. Same. I used to like it way more than that math one.
Which one?
It was called Cyber Chase, I think.
I liked Cyber Chase.
I didn't like the weird... He was like blue.
He was like a bird.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But... Honestly, I had the same negative. It was just that initial... It felt like it was weird. Like, it had to ease into itself. Yeah. And...
I think just what helped was the narration. It just wasn't getting straight to it.
Well, I also thought it was audio mixed weird. Because I was like, everything sounded louder than Hiccup. So I was kind of like, I don't think I can... Like, did you feel like that? Or was I just like, am I hard of hearing now?
Maybe it's just that system that you were talking about.
No, yeah. Because I was just like, everything's so loud. I was like, I understand that I'm supposed to be put into this chaotic environment. But then I'm also like, but I need to hear. Yeah. But, they included my favorite joke in the original again, where he's like, thank you for the breast hat. I love that joke. It's very funny. Overall, you have anything else? Any negative? Any positive?
No. I think they just did a great job with this live action one. I'm just solely impressed. Now I'm curious if they were gonna make not with like the second one, probably a third one. Yeah. But you do a live action Kung Fu Panda?
I have no idea how they do that.
That'd be crazy.
What, like Mufasa?
Yeah. No. It'd be just Jack Black as a panda suit.
They're gonna paint him?
No.
He's gonna be in an actual panda suit?
Dude, that'd be funny.
I don't want to see that.
Come on, that'd be funny. That would be funny.
It'd be funny, but
like the fight scenes are just like Shang-Chi.
Oh, if they could somehow pull that off, I guess.
Dude, but that sounds funny.
Wait, wasn't Kung Fu Panda 4 supposed to be like a weird like live action hybrid thing?
Was it?
And then and they were like, this is a terrible idea. Why would we do this?
Wait, I don't know.
A lot of people had a lot to say about that when they were like, yeah, I don't think people like that idea. I'll literally show you that.
What about the new Shrek movie?
Oh, Shrek 5.
Didn't they say that they wanted to make it a live action, or he goes into the real world? Is that fake?
No, that's fake. That's not real. But
okay, thank God.
Do think design. I don't mind the designs for the new Shrek thing. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like people are like acting away about that, but then look at Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, compared to the first one.
Yeah.
They don't look like each other.
No.
And
but he still looks the same.
oh, also the Croods and the Croods 2 look different from each other, but nobody's really seen those.
Yeah.
Also, the Croods 2 is hilarious, guys. I recommend the movie. But
live action Croods.
I obviously that could work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this, and I feel like I know the answer, but then I have a follow-up question. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is obviously going to get made. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
With that one, though, do you want it to be a recreation of the second one like the first one, or do you want that to veer off kind of in like a different territory?
No, I want it to be like how the first one was, because it's consistent.
I feel like I want that. And then the third one is the one that I would call a little imperfect. It's still an amazing movie.
Uh-huh.
But you haven't seen it, but
No.
there's one specific reason why I think it's the weakest of the three.
Why?
It's because the connection with Girl Toothless and Boy Toothless needs a little bit more. It needed a bit more time to actually grow.
Okay.
And so obviously I feel like they could take that and really, because the ending to that movie is really sad, and I think that you could really earn that ending with like a bit more fleshed out, I think. And they have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But also, part of me is kind of selfish, and I'm like, well, maybe they should make like a bridge movie before they do that one. And they could like, I don't know. I'm just like seeing possibilities because they have that like Netflix TV show that I still haven't seen, but I've heard is good.
Yeah.
Where they have different stories about all of that, and I've heard it's canon, so I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
yeah, overall, what'd you think and what's your score?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5?
I want to watch it again
Okay.
so bad.
I want to see it again, and I also gave it a really high score. Not that high, but I think it's just because like I'm gonna sound annoying when I say this. It is the same movie, but I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5.
I just felt so many emotions
What?
from watching the live action one.
I did cry. Did you cry?
Yeah.
I teared up a couple.
Well, because
times,
it's like,
for sure.
I don't know, it's just one of those things where I think somebody said something where it's like watching the animated one, you just finish like, dang, what if they made it live action? And you watch it and it's the exact same.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh damn, that was great.
I saw someone say that like the live action has to give you like a reason to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I have no reason to see the live action Lilo and Stitch again.
Yeah.
With this one, like I said, the scale and the dragons and like scale. But
you just said it was the exact same.
But I would watch this again because it feels like even grander. Like it has more to it. And that's what I like so much about it. And I like that there's one scene I thought was recreated so incredibly. It's when they throw the fireball into the cave that all the dragons are, and you can see like the shadow of him. That was really cool. But yeah, I love this a lot. And what's up next?
Did you give your score?
I did, yeah.
What was it?
4.5 out of 5. Oh. Really great.
What
really,
is
really
up
great.
Next?
I know what's up next to you.
28 years later.
Damn, we have to wait that long?
Oh, you wanted to ask me that, that's why?
No.
Elio?
I actually came up with that just now. Oh, Elio. Yeah, are you excited for that?
Yes and no, I guess. I don't know. I've like
Pixar and trailers, man.
it's just the trailers. They don't really catch me. I'm excited because it is Pixar, but at the same time, I'm like the trailers are not great.
I've seen the reviews for it. If that helps you.
What is it?
I've heard it's great.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
It's
awesome.
in like the high 80s on Rotten Tomatoes. I just thought people were like, "Oh, it's beautiful," obviously. But I mean, that's one of those given things with Pixar. There, like, I mean,
It's beautiful. I better hope so.
Yeah, you're like, are they gonna be ugly? Like, even The Good Dinosaur is amazing looking. Yes. It's not a very good movie,
so
but
boring.
Yeah, a very boring movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I loved this, and then it's 28 years later, and then Elio, and if you have time, Materialist, because I will
see Materialist.
Yeah, because I do actually want to talk about that for a couple specific reasons.
Yeah.
But overall, what are they gonna do?
They're gonna like, comment, and subscribe.
Please do. What did you think of How to Train Your Dragon?
I already told you.
Not you. Oh. What did they think of How to Train Your Dragon?
Yes.
Do you know how to do that? And
I can train your dragon.
Can you repeat the joke from the last time? But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We'll see you 28 years later. See you next time.